Hi everybody! So this is a follow-on video from my Placenta Previa story. So if you've not already watched that one, I will link it down below so you can check that out. But this video is about Tommy's neonatal journey. So Tommy was born on Wednesday at midday and he came down to me on the ward Saturday about 10 o'clock. So he was in there roughly for 3 days. So after they wheeled him round, they briefly showed him to me and then they wheeled him off to neonatal to try and get his breathing managed because he was taking a lot of energy to try and take his breaths to breathe, just because that sticky fluid, every time his lungs close, it was a lot of effort for him to try and reopen him to take that big inhale in again. So they took him up there and then I told Tom to go and see him whilst I was in recovery. So when I got back to the ward, Tom came back down to me and then Tom showed me all the pictures and the videos that he took of him. So I'll try and link that video in now. And I'll be honest with you, seeing that video, that was really hard because as a mum, you feel like you should be the one there for your children, for your baby. And I just felt so hopeless. I was sat here with massive space boots on, couldn't move. But you have to tell yourself in these positions, and I did, you have to keep reminding yourself that they are in the best hands. These people are amazing. They know what they're doing. They do it every day. They are fantastic. He's in the best hands. So I tried to not get too upset or put too much guilt on myself that I wasn't able to do anything. I took comfort in the fact that he was in the right place and he was being looked after by the right people. They said to me that I wasn't able to get up until roughly about 6 hours, but that was my goal. As soon as that 6 hours, I was gonna get up, have my catheter taken out, get in that wheelchair and go and see my baby boy. So it was about 7ish that I was able to get into that wheelchair, get up, and Tom wheeled me to neonatal to go and see my baby. Now, I didn't know what to expect. None of my other kids have been in neonatal, so I did not know what to expect. So when Tom wheeled me in and I saw him in the incubator, I did cry, and it makes me tear up now, even though he's fine. He's a healthy, happy baby, because you just don't know what to expect, and it is a shock. He had wires on him for his blood pressure, temperature, all that kind of thing. He had some tubes in his throat, like a tube on his nose, just to give him that extra bit of oxygen, and he was on a CPAP machine. Now that applies a bit of pressure just so then your lungs don't fully shut, because if you remember, like I said, that sticky liquid was taking him a lot of energy when it stuck together to reopen his lungs. So it was just keeping him so they didn't fully shut, just so he wasn't exerting as much energy on breathing. And that night I wasn't able to hold him, just because he'd obviously gone through a lot, being born, having all these wires on him, and they just wanted to just give him a bit of time, see if his own body could try and rectify itself a little bit. But as that evening came later, when me and Tom was back on the ward, because Tom slept that night, they did come down to us and said, he doesn't seem to be improving. He's not getting any worse, but he's not improving either. They would like our consent to give him the medicine, which they have to, like, I'm no healthcare professional, but they did say they had to give it directly kind of in that lung kind of vicinity area. So they did say they would have to put a tube down and then give him the medicine. So they wanted our consent, one, to give him the medicine, and two, because sometimes, especially because he was a big baby for his age, he was £7.14, just in case he was to put up a bit of a struggle, they don't like to distress the babies, that they would put him to sleep, give him the medicine, and usually, like 9 times out of the 10, this medicine, it massively improves how they are with their breathing. It almost just clears up all that fluid and they will improve quite rapidly from there. So me and Tom, we said, yes, give him the medicine. If you need to put him to sleep, just let us know when it's done, how it went, and if he's okay. And it was brilliant. The lady came back down later on. She said it all went really well. he was quite calm whilst they was giving him the medicine. So fingers crossed this medicine works and he can start to just improve and everything like that. Because other than his breathing, he was a good size, he was a good colour, he was keeping his temperature really well, like maintaining his temperature really well. So everything else was looking really, really good. So the next day was the day that I got to hold him. They rang down to the ward and they said, could mum come up and we're going to try mum and baby some skin to skin. Because he was getting himself a bit distressed, because I think he was starting to get a bit hungry because they'd not fed him yet. They was trying to not really feed him, just give him fluids, because they didn't want to fill up his stomach too much, which then would put more pressure on his lungs, because they was really trying to just get that breathing underway. So I think he was getting hungry. I think he was getting annoyed with all these wires on him. And baby, do you know what I mean? Babies know your voice, your smell. They look for their mum's smell. They want to listen to their mum. They want that skin to skin. So I think he was just craving that as well, to be honest. That's what they said to me. So I went up, they put him on my chest. Oh, and it was amazing. It was really, really amazing. I finally felt like I'm his mum and I'm doing something for him. It was fantastic. And he calmed right down. He just fell asleep on me. Oh, it was brilliant. I'm not gonna lie, I was a bit nervous because I didn't want to like dislodge any wires, pull them out, but they reassured me everything's fine, it will be fine. So yes, that was that. And then also on the Thursday, my kids could come up and see him. Both his nannies, my dad, his granddad. So Thursday was like a really good day. And obviously I kept going up every couple of hours to just go and check on him. I was getting up out of bed. He was my motivation, because it is hard after a C-section to get up, but he was my motivation to get up, get out of bed, get moving, go up in the lift in my little dressing gown and slippers and see my baby. And he was starting to improve, because every time I went up, like all these monitors, they was bringing down the oxygen that they was giving him. They kept giving me updates. He was doing really well, and they did start to tube feed him a bit of formula, and they asked me, do I want to breastfeed, and I did say yes. So I started to express in my room, and I had little containers of breast milk, and then they'd tube feed him with that. So that was another win for me. I felt like I was contributing to the early days of care for my baby. So that was really nice to know that even though he couldn't breastfeed and latch straight away, I was still being able to give him my breast milk. So then on to Friday. Now Friday, another fantastic day. He was actually able to come out of his incubator. So he came off the CPAP machine, came out of his incubator, and I'll pop a photo up now of him out of his incubator. So he still had the odd kind of wires on him to check his temperature, heart rate, stuff like that, and he still had his tube in him down his throat to feed him, but was not on any kind of extra oxygen. He wasn't on that CPAP machine. He was breathing all by himself, and he was doing fantastic. Now later that evening, they'd asked me if I wanted to come up, because he was going to take the tube out and see if he wanted to try and latch onto me, but I think this boy had got lazy. Because he was quite just used to having food being put into his stomach, he was just faffing with the latching. He was not playing ball with that at all. So they was cup feeding him in the meantime, and they said they'd keep trying, but they did say to me Friday night, if he doesn't latch soon, we're gonna have to put the tube back in him, because we need to make sure he keeps eating. Now, after the last 2 days I'd just been through, it was so just mentally like hard, it just emotionally hard. It does not matter, I'll say this now, it does not matter how you feed your baby, whether it's bottle or breast or both, it does not matter. A fed baby is all that matters. Now, Zach and Amelia, I tried to breastfeed and I ended up bottle feeding both times after trying for about a week. But this time I was really wanting to try, but when they said to me, look, we'll try latching again, but if he doesn't, we'll have to put the tube back in and we'll try again at a later date, I just, no, I didn't want that tube to go back in, because they said to me if he could start feeding without the tube, he was able to come back down to me and we was a step closer to coming home. So I just said, no, let's just bottle feed him. Let's just bottle feed him. I'll express and we can bottle feed him. I just wanted my baby with me. I just wanted my baby in the ward with me at the side of my bed. So that's what we did. We bottle fed him and he was taking bottles like an absolute champion, feeding so well. He was doing fantastic. So even though I had to make that, which for me, a hard choice to bottle feed, it was the right one because I wanted my baby with me. And on Saturday morning, it was really nice actually. Zach and Amelia was with me and my mother-in-law and Tom, and was just all in the room talking, and a lady popped her head in. She went, oh, have you got a visitor? And I thought she was saying, oh, have I got a visitor? So I was like, oh yeah, everyone's just come to see me. We'll go up and see Tommy in a minute. And she went, no, you've got a visitor. And then that's it. She wheeled Tommy in. Oh, it was so good. Oh, these are happy tears. It was amazing. My baby was with me in my room, because it is hard when you have a baby and they're not there. Because obviously you had a baby, you still got like your baby belly there and stuff like that. And so many people kept walking past like, oh, when are you having your baby? I was like, he's here, he's upstairs, he's 2 days old. But he was with me now and he was doing fantastic. And I was so proud. I wanted to keep my door open so anyone walking past, they'd see my baby in my room with me. And Zach and Amelia was able to stroke his little face. It was just fantastic. Now, they did say to me he still had a bit of jaundice, so they had to move like a kind of blue light incubator in the room. So then when I wasn't holding him or wasn't changing him, feeding him, he'd have to lay under that blue light like a little mask on, just to help his jaundice levels come down. But apart from that, I'm looking like I was having a disco in my room at night with a massive blue light on. Everything was great and he was doing great. And then on Sunday, they said to me that after a day and a night with me, he was doing well, he was feeding well, everything like that, he was able to come home. 5 days we was able to come home and I was so excited. I was so ready for home and just to get back to that normal family life. Just to be a family of 5 at home. Oh, I was so ready for it. So everything was great. We was packing up ready to go. The only shocker was basically before this, I spoke to friends and family and people who had C-sections, and quite a lot of them had told me that you'd have to inject yourself afterwards just to try and reduce the risk of you getting deep vein thrombosis. Is that right? Deep vein thrombosis, yeah. And it was, they always said like it was around about 10ish days. So I assumed I'd have to take about 10 needles home, which I wasn't looking forward to doing 10 needles at. You basically inject them in your lower stomach so that you hold your stomach, hold some fat, and then just put the injection in. You don't really feel it that much. When I was in the hospital, the dad did ask me if I wanted to do it. I was like, no, you can do it. You can do it. I thought I'll do it when I go home, and I psyched myself up to do it. So I expected 10. Now, the lady passed me the bag and I looked in the bag and I was like, how many? There was like, I don't know, like 4 boxes. I was like, 4 boxes of how many? So I said to the lady, I said, how many times do I have to inject myself? She went, oh, you've got to inject yourself once a day for 6 weeks. Now I was like, whoa, 6 weeks? I was expecting 10 days, like a week and a half. I said, are you sure? I don't know why I asked, are you sure? Because she's sure. She's the midwife, she knows. Anyway, she said, oh, I just go and triple check, but I am sure it's 6 weeks. So she came back and she said, no, it is 6 weeks. And she basically explained when they feel like you're at higher risk of getting deep vein thrombosis, they actually then do give you injections to do for 6 weeks. And she said it could also be because my C-section was such an emergency, it actually ended up going down as a category 1 C-section. That was another thing that could kind of tip you over into that box of you need to inject yourself for 6 weeks. It was a shocker, but I was not letting that ruin me coming home with my baby. It was the best feeling ever. My turn, and it was amazing. So yeah, so that was Tommy's neonatal story. It was a really positive one, and honestly, those people up there, they are fantastic. They are honestly fantastic. They would let you just sit there all the time. I never felt rushed when I went to go and see Tommy. They'd chat to me. Even one of them gave me a hug. Honestly, thank you for all those people. All those people that look after our babies when they need it. You do an amazing job. So thanks for watching, guys. If you'd like to leave a comment of your story, or just leave a comment in general, I'd love to read them, guys. And if you could like and subscribe, I'd appreciate it. I'll see you in my next one. Thanks for watching, guys. Bye.